Hey everyone, Ryan here at Etrailer. Today we're going to be checking out the Buyers Products 7 to 4-way trailer connector adapter. So right away what this is going to do is give us a 7-way round type connector as well as a 4-way flat type connector. So we're able to plug in different types of trailers and get our lighting functions. A couple of reasons a lot of people use this. Probably one of the most popular is that their trailer that they're going to be pulling has a 7-way round type connector on it, similar to this, but their vehicle is only equipped with 4-way flat type trailer wiring. So, that gives you the question, how do you plug this into that? And that's where this would come into play. All right, so your vehicle will need existing 4-way flat wiring. You plug this into it, and then we will be able to plug our trailer's 7-way in and get all those lighting functions. Now, by setting it up like that, you're just going to get your tail lights, your turn signals, and your brake lights. If you're looking to use a trailer brake controller, or you need auxiliary 12-volt power, let's say your trailer has a battery on it that could be charged while you're towing it or something like that. Or if you're looking for your reverse light circuit to work, maybe you're pulling a boat that has a reverse lockout actuator, whatever the case may be, if you're looking to get those types of things done, you absolutely can with this. The wires are there to hook up, but it's not going to come with all the additional parts and pieces and wiring to allow you to do that. So with that said, if you're kind of starting from scratch, if you will, and you have the 4-way flat wiring on your vehicle already, a better option would probably be the universal brake controller install kit. With that, pretty much the same deal going on here, but you get all those little extra parts and pieces to allow you to use that brake controller, 12-volt power, and the reverse light circuit. Another reason you could use something like this is maybe your vehicle has a 7-way round on it already, but isn't set up like this. Don't have that extra 4-way off to the side that you could plug into. And maybe you have both types of trailers. One has a 7-way round connector, the other one has a 4-way flat, and you might be tired of using an adapter like this. All right, because a lot of times if you have just a 7-way and you're trying to tow that trailer with different wiring, you'd plug something like this in and be able to plug the trailer into it. Well, that can kind of get annoying sometimes, keeping track of this and everything else. So by switching over to this, you'd have both types of connections, your 7 as well as your 4, already set up and ready to use. To compare the buyer's kit to some of the others, here I have on hand a kit made by Kurt, and they're extremely similar. Really not a whole lot of differences at all. And honestly, that's kind of how a lot of them are across the board. And when it comes down to it, can't really go wrong using either one. The kit is going to come included with a bracket that will allow you to mount up the 7-way connector and the 4-way flat, but it's not going to come with an additional bracket to mount it up to, let's say, your trailer hitch, for example. So if you need something like that, which seems like 9 times out of 10 you will, you can always pick up what's called a no-drill long bracket, which is what I used here. And with these, you can bend them kind of how you want, and these are just going to simply clamp around the trailer hitch, giving you that attachment point. That way you can hook up the included bracket and 7-way connector to it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, a pretty convenient kit, and it's going to be a great solution for a lot of you out there that need this type of connector plug on the back of your vehicle. As far as the installation goes, everyone's setup is going to be a little bit different, but the general idea and concept is going to kind of hold true across the board. So what we'll do is get this installed on our vehicle and hopefully give you a little insight on how you can do yours. Very first thing that I like to do is connect our 7-way connector here to the bracket that comes with it. You'll have 4 attachment points, 1 on each corner, and just take a screw, push that through. And on the back side, you'll have a flat washer, a split lock washer, and a nut. And I like to get all of them started hands height first. That way you can, maneuver it around a little bit better. So I got all mine going, so we can come back and snug them down using a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm going to hold that nut with a 3/8 socket. And grab this 4-way connector now, and I like to just cut the cap off like that. And I do recommend taking some dielectric grease, which you can grab here at Etrailer, and just put it on the terminals. This will help protect them against corrosion and things of that nature. Put a layer on there. Then this will just plug into your existing 4-way flat wiring. We can work on getting our ground wire hooked up, which is this white one with the pre-attached ring terminal. And a lot of cases, you're able just to take a self-tapping screw and find a good, solid, clean piece of metal to attach this to for our ground. But on our particular vehicle, don't really have an ideal spot or one that I'm too crazy about to do that. So I'm just gonna extend the wire a little bit. Got a couple foot of wiring here, crimped on a ring terminal on one end, butt connector on the other. And so what I'm gonna do with our ground is cut that ring terminal off. And if you're gonna be making, any other connections with butt connectors or ring terminals, this is how you would do it. You strip one end insulation back and give the wire a twist. Put the wire into the end of the butt connector there and crimp it down. And I'm using a heat shrink style butt connector. The ends will seal up and help against corrosion. If you're going to be using a regular style like these that come on these wires already, that's fine too. Just make sure to tape them up real good when they're connected. But with this, I'm going to take my heat source and seal it up. Just to give you an example, here is how I secured our ground wire. Just got that clean piece of metal and used a self-tapping screw to secure it to the body of the vehicle. I taped up the butt connector there that we used to extend our wire, just for good measure. And then you're gonna have 3 more wires, a blue one, a yellow one, and a black one. And depending on your scenario, you may or may not be hooking these up. Since we're just using this as a 4 to 7 adapter, more or less, we're not gonna be hooking these up. But if you were, the black one would be for your 12-volt auxiliary power. The blue one would control the electric brake output. And the yellow one would control your reverse lights or auxiliary lights if you have it hooked up that way. But since we're not using them, I really don't want to cut them off entirely, because in the future, if we do need them, it'd be kind of difficult to do that. So I'm just going to tape them up real good and out of the way for now. With everything hooked up, I taped everything up and used some zip ties just to clean everything up. And it's a good idea to test this wiring out now to make sure that it's working properly. I like to use testers like this as opposed to just hooking up to a trailer. And I say because if your trailer has any issues, it might mislead you into thinking it's something you did wrong on the vehicle side here. So that one's for our 4-way. We'll use this one for the 7-way. We'll run through our lighting functions. So we have our left turn signal, our right turn signal. We'll hit our brakes, try out our taillights. And if you happen to hook up the 12-volt auxiliary power, you'd want to make sure that has power sent back. If you hook this up to a trailer brake controller. You can hit the manual override button on your brake controller. Power should be sent back there. And for the reverse light circuit, you can start the car up, put it in reverse, and make sure that has power as well. Now that we verified everything is working, we're in good shape, and that's really all there is to it. So, you know, hopefully by hanging around and watching us set ours up today, it gives you a little bit of insight and direction when it comes to setting this up on your particular vehicle. But with that said, I think that'll about do it for our look at of these Byers 7 to 4-way trailer connector.